Pulse. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. All right, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, all right. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded, here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ、礼儀を重んずること。一つ、景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。素晴らしい。Ready? よい。Welcome to today's class. Today is going to be a beginner class, and what we're going to go over today is the kata Heian Shodan. All right, and what we're going to actually do is go through the Bunkai for it. So I like to go through the Bunkai for kata because I think that it helps to ingrain the kata in your mind, but it also helps with practical application. As you go through the kata, you can kind of think about how you might actually apply the kata in a real life situation. Okay. Heian Shodan is not a kata that you typically look at the Bunkai for, but I think that it should be one of those that you can actually pick up on, especially at this level. Being a beginner, you should start looking at Bunkai for all of your kata as you move forward through your martial arts journey, so that you can really understand how you're practically applying any kata that you're learning. Again, as you learn something, you typically look at it as a traditional, Japanese or Okinawan style of martial art, and you think, well, this is so traditional, how would I actually apply this now, in real life, in a regular situation? So again, this gives you that foundation to help you kind of look at practical application, so you understand really what it's like and why you're learning the things that you're learning. Okay, so we're going to go through the kata. All right, we're going to go through it a couple times. Again, as a beginner, you should know the kata Heian Shodan. You probably already know the kata Takeoku Shodan as well, so that would be the Kihon kata. Heian Shodan would be the traditional kata, and then you might know Heian Nidan as well, so that might be one that you're picking up on and you're starting to learn at this belt level. Typically, I believe you'd learn Heian Nidan as a yellow belt, and you would have to know that kata before you move to orange belt. So again, we're still in the realm of being a beginner here. So let's go through the kata Heian Shodan. All right, actually let's warm up with Takeoku Shodan. We'll get through that kata, then we'll go to Heian Shodan, we'll perform that kata, and then, like I said, we'll start talking about the Bunkai for Heian Shodan. Practice it a couple times so you kind of get what it feels like to work with the Bunkai for it. All right, so like I said, let's go ahead and start with the kata Takeoku Shodan. This is the traditional kata. I'm going to go through this kata. You're going to go through it at your own speed and pace. All right, so I'm not going to count it out for us. Let's go through it on your own. Ready? We go through the protocol together. Yoi. Subirachi. Ready. Yoi. And now it's kata Takeoku Shodan. Your own speed and pace. And hajime. Peace. Peace. And yame. Good. So once you do that one somewhat slowly, all right, not at a very quick pace, And let's talk about the difference, all right, between the Kihon kata and the traditional kata. All right, so what is the difference there? So the first difference that we notice right off the bat is after you make your 180-degree turn, after your oizuki punch, Gamma down block, instead of moving straight into an oizuki punch, you actually stop here for a Tetsui Uchi, this hammer fist. Then you move into your oizuki punch. We turn left 90 degrees, and instead of doing 3 oizuki punches, we do 3 age-uke rising blocks, all right, for this portion here. This portion is the same, this portion is the same. As you come back, that is all the same. And then you turn here at the end with 4 Shutokans, all right, and a back stance. So this is the first time we introduce a new stance into your kata. So back stance, 4 Shutokans. One here, one at a 45-degree angle. You come back to this same position here, and then another one at a 45-degree angle. And that's the difference between the two kata. There's not a huge difference, all right? And these, yes, are both beginner kata because you're not really doing too much as far as Kihon techniques or stance, but a very important kata for you to start learning and picking up on. All right, so let's go through the kata Heian Shodan now, all right? We're going to go through it twice. I'm going to go through it from 2 different angles so that you're able to see it clearly. I'll start here, and then I'll do another version right there, starting there. So again, you have 2 perspectives on the kata if you're wanting to see me do it, okay? But I do want you to go through this kata with me. So if you want to watch me and then rewind and then go through it together, that's what I would prefer. Again, this is a class, so I want you to participate as much as possible. All right, so let's go back here. Let's go through protocol together. Yoi, Subidachi, rip, yoi. And now it's kata Heian Shodan. All right, again, your own speed and pace. You should know this kata. Ready? Hajime. And yame. Very good. Okay, so there's the difference. Now that one I did do it at regular speed and pace, all right? Didn't slow it down as much as I did with Takeoku Shodan. So again, that's the speed and pace that you should be going through, all right? Let's do it again from this angle here. Let's start here. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Right. Yoi. Heian Shodan. Your own speed and pace. Ready? Hajime. Please. Please. And yame. Good. All right, so we should be finishing at about the same time. All right, if we're doing protocol together, starting the kata together, we should be finishing at about the same time. Give you a little bit of leeway depending on your kime, all right? Your pauses after each technique, okay? So let's talk about a couple quick things before we move to the bunkai. Are you telegraphing? All right. I went through this in a previous class, okay? So watch that, try to work on that, all right, as you go through kata. Hand Shodan and Takeoku Shodan, especially at this belt level, probably the first two kata, that you know, yes. You may know hand Nidan, like I said, but you should be practicing these two kata every time you step onto your mat. Every time you put on your gi, every time you decide to work out and do your martial arts for the day, you should be doing these two kata. Takeoku Shodan and Heian Nidan, or Heian Shodan, okay? Every day. This is one of those kata that you're going to do, Heian Shodan, is one of these kata that you're going to do hundreds of times in your martial arts career, all right? It's a great way to warm up. You may go to or attend a class, or maybe you'll go and attend a seminar. Guaranteed, at some point that day, you will do Heian Shodan. Hone it, make it look good, work on it as much as possible, because it's the base, all right? Telegraphing, right? Remember, I talked about this before. As you go through, there's a couple things where you do triples, right? Where you do 3 age-uke rising blocks, or you do 3 oizuki punches. Watch that front foot, all right? Make sure you're not kicking it out with every step, okay? Make sure that you're transferring your weight and leaning into, and leaning into, all right? Make sure that that's happening, okay? Again, it just makes your kata look so much better. It makes you look like a better student, and it makes you look like you've learned it and been doing it much longer, okay? Your skill set looks better. Any outsider who's watching you do the kata, especially if they have a higher rank, will look at you and think, wow, all right? Again, telegraphing is a huge thing. A lot of students don't pick up on it until later, right? When they're blue belts, purple belts, and they start going through kata, and you, as a lower rank, will see it. And you pick up on it, and you think, wow, my sensei taught me the right way to do that by not telegraphing those as we take steps. Okay? Because it's a natural thing that your body wants to do. You have to fight it. You have to learn a specific way to transfer your weight and walk properly in order to get through that and not telegraph. It's very important. Okay? So again, I have another video on that. Go check that out. And try to really practice that. Again, like I said, practice this kata as often as you get on the mat. And whenever you do it, make sure you're not telegraphing with that front foot as you move. Okay, all right, let's talk about Bunkai. Okay, so traditional, and a traditional mindset, whenever you go through this kata, the Japanese, right, when this kata was first created, they're looking at multiple attackers. Okay, so I'm going to walk through the kata and I'm going to kind of announce what's happening, so you realize what their mindset was, what they were thinking whenever they first created this kata. And if you go and look at YouTube and you do a search for Heian Shodan Bunkai, you'll probably see this one more often than anything, is this particular fight. Okay, so this particular, the Bunkai for this is usually and traditionally multiple fighters, but I'll show you why some of it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so starting here, you're in Yoi. So you're ready for a fight. The first thing that happens is someone is coming from the side with a kick. You're blocking the kick with the Gedan right down block, or deflecting it off to the side, and then moving forward with the oizuki punch. Looking over your shoulder, you see someone coming again, another attacker, with a kick as well. You're turning into it, deflecting the kick down and off to the side, coming up, hammer fist strike to the forehead, nose, chin, down. Then as you push them back, oizuki punch. Now another attacker is coming from this side. This is attacker number 3 now. Kick, deflected with the oizuki or the Gedan right down block, and now you're going to back them up as they punch. So they're punching, deflected, punching, deflected, punching again, deflected. You do nothing at this point to this attacker, you just deflected 3 of their punches. Someone is coming from this side, or kicking, Gedan right down block, Oizuki punch. Another attacker, maybe this one that you've backed up, is now coming from your back to kick. Gain right down block. Oizuki punch. Now one of the attackers from before is coming this direction. Get him right down block, deflecting the kick as you punch 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You've taken care of this attacker. That attacker is coming now from this side with the punch. You've blocked it. Control the arm. And a chop here to the side of the neck. Maybe dumping them across this leg. Same thing happens. You see an attacker coming from this side with a punch, deflected with your Shotokan. Control the arm, stepping forward, Shotokan again across the neck, potentially dumping them right here across your leg, but you have control of the arm that you're pulling, that's your hikite hand, and the chop across the neck, the carotid right here. All right, so it's a good place to knock someone out if you can hit that good, really, strong and quick. Just interrupts blood flow to the brain, and you can knock someone out, at least daze them rather quickly. Right? So that's the traditional bunkai for the kata. Multiple attackers. Your techniques are exactly what they look like. Get them right down block is blocking a kick, which is what it's intended to do. Then you move into that Oizuki punch. It's a punch, it's what it's intended to do. All the geidans in the kata are blocking or deflecting a kick. Okay? All of your ageukes are deflecting punches. All right? That's what everything kind of looks like. Okay? But let's look at it this way, okay? So someone's coming from this side and you've blocked. Number one, you're stepping into a kick. All right? We don't step back and block, right? We step into the kick and block it or deflect it and then punch. Now we have this spidey sense that someone is coming from behind us to kick. Well, if someone's coming from behind me with a kick, why don't I just do this? Right? I can turn up and away and I'm out of the way of that kick. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm choosing to turn and put my body into the kick. Right? I'm moving towards my attacker to deflect that kick. All right, how much sense does that really make? Okay, so some of this, like I said, is very old school, very traditional. Same thing happens up here, right? We've taken care of this attacker, have we? All we've done is just blocked a couple of their punches. And now we're moving on to a new attacker who, like I said, instead, the kick is coming from this direction. Instead of stepping back and blocking down, we're doing a 270-degree turn to block it. Now, yes, turning does create momentum and can carry that block with a little bit more power and force, right, to deflect it, but why do that, right? We have this block. We can simply step and deflect it if that's all we're looking to do. So, and again, then you attack with an Oizuki punch, and again, your spidey sense goes off, and you, without even knowing or looking behind you, someone's coming with another kick, and you step into it again, instead of punching here and just turning up and away. Right? So, those are the kind of things that I tend to look at and say, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, I get it, right? I get why, if you're really trying to apply each technique in the kata, and not really change how you're doing the kata, I get it. But Bunkai is about real practical application in real life. So sometimes a block is not a block, all right? So let's talk about that. So you start here in Shizentai, all right? Or typically you're gonna start in somewhat of a fighting stance, all right? You're ready for something to happen. You're not just standing here like this when someone is coming at you to attack you. That makes sense, right? So you're more up here. Now, the first move that you do is a get right down block, 90 degrees to the left, okay? Two things that you can look at here. Either your attacker is coming straight on with a kick, and you are deflecting it and stepping out of the way, Or you're both here, you grab their arm and pull it down. Okay, so what does that do, right? If I'm standing here, we're both in this combative stance, you grab my arm and pull me down. That opens all this up to an attack. What kind of attack? What's the next thing you do? An oizuki punch, right? So if, again, you're here and I pull your arm down and then punch you straight across the face, that makes a little bit more sense, right? Or that kick, right? So if I'm here and I decide to kick you, it's deflected and then a punch comes. All right, because I'm deflecting off to the side, oizuki punch. You can either punch there, that's Gaikuzuki, or you could punch and then step. That's what we're going to do. All right, so two different ways you can look at it. You can take either one of those as your opening. Okay? Either someone's coming with a kick, you're stepping offline to deflect, or you grab the arm, pull down. Still looks like Gedan Barada, even though that's not what you're doing. Pull the arm down. Your Hikite hand now comes up for your oizuki punch. You're going to step into the crevice, or the opening between their legs. All right, so if I'm here and you pull me down, there's an opening here. You're going to step into that. All right, so imagine that. I'm here, pull the arm down. There's that opening between the legs. I'm going to punch and step in, wrap my arm around, grabbing the jaw. Okay, so again, my arm is pulled down. I was up here. My arm is pulled down. I've been punched across the face. And now you're going to reach around my neck, grabbing my face, anything up here, anything you can get a hold of, grab it. So you punched, grab anything you can get a hold of, still holding that arm, you're still not letting go of that arm, pull, and rip down to the ground. All right, so let's look at it from another angle. Here, pull down, punch, reach around, grab, rip down to the floor. What comes next? Tetsuiuchi. Hammer fist. They stay down. At that point, you kind of back away. All right? That's your opening for hand Shodan. You can look at it again with a kick. All right? So if someone's coming in with that front kick, deflected, punch, around the face, rip, hammer fist. Stand up. All right, again, at this point you've taken down your attacker. They made the first move. The only thing you're doing is getting out of the way and counterattacking. That's what you're looking to do. Because that's what kata is all about. Every first move in kata and Shotokan is a block. From here, everything that you learn going forward, the first move in every kata is a block. That's what's happening here, right? Either you're deflecting that kick, or you're grabbing that arm, pulling it down, getting it out of your way, holding on to it, punch, grab, rip and turn, hammer fist, still controlling that arm, and then up and away. All right? So there's your opening for hand Shodan. So that takes care of everything from here, because, and again, I'll just point this out, right? After this punch, your arm comes up just like this before you throw this Gedan right down block. It's exactly what you're doing, right? Again, deflection, grabbing the wrist, punch, your arm comes up and around as you rip down, and again, what looks like a Gedan right down block, but it's really a throw, striking down. All right, so that takes you all into this. You're done. We can look at it another way. That was your opening. Let's look at just this side. There's an attacker here. Again, you're in a fighting stance, ready to defend whatever's coming your way. All right, I'll look at it from here. So here's what we're doing, right? We've done this. Hammer fist, Oizuki punch. So again, someone could be throwing a kick, you deflect it, and now a punch is coming. Blocked over to the side, controlling the arm out, Oizuki punch. Right? It makes a lot of sense. As the attacker, I'm here, I'm going to kick, that's deflected. As my leg is deflected, I'm going to come down with a punch. You're taking that hammer fist, and instead of a hammer fist, it's simply blocking it, controlling the arm out and up and over. Punch, controlling the arm up, out, and over, moving forward to punch. Okay? So that makes a little bit more sense too, right? Again, you're here, you're lined up, someone's coming with that kick, blocked. As they start that punch, you're going to block it up, control it around and over as you punch. Next thing is a Gerambarai down block to that direction. Again, face rip, controlling the face, still controlling the arm here, dropping them down to the ground. Still controlling the arm. Makes a lot more sense, right? And it doesn't, again, like I said, it doesn't have to be a Gerambarai down block is blocking a kick every time. All right, I've shown you that twice, 3 times. All right, yes, it can be a block to start, but it can also grab and control someone. On this side over here, yes, it is a block. Tetsui, that really you're turning and grabbing the arm to control. Punch, grab, dump. Actually, because there's an Oizuki punch, you can turn that into an elbow strike. Let's look at that. So again, here, a kick comes in, blocked, deflected, the punch is coming, up, control. Instead of a punch, let's do an elbow strike. Elbow strike, grab, the face, the head, control, or just across the body here, control, still holding the arm, rip, spike on the knee. Okay? Again, what does that look like as the attacker? I'm kicking, that didn't work, I'm gonna punch, control, elbow across the face, grabbing or putting your arm in front of my body here, and dumping me. I'm gonna end up on your knee, right? Because I've got control here, elbow across, spiking on the knee. And again, you have control here to punch, strike, whatever you want to do. If you're just controlling this arm and you're striking down. And again, step back and away. All right? So there's 2 where you're now taking control of and put 2 people on the ground. All right? It's not an attacker here, and then an attacker here, and then an attacker here. Okay, it's one attack that you are controlling, striking, ripping, down. All right, there's one. Another is now coming or completely and totally separate situations. Blocked, Tetsui to grab and control the arm, elbow strike, dump, spike. All right? So you put 2 people on the ground. Traditional only shows you blocking, punching, moving on to the next person. Okay? That block and punch may not be as effective as you might think. What we've done is really controlled a person all the way to the ground. All right, so that's what I'm kind of going for. Controlling that person to the ground, moving on to the next. Okay, so this center portion, all right, it is what it is. It's 3 Ageuke rising blocks. Can't really do much with that. It is Someone's punching, you're blocking. Someone's punching, you're blocking. Someone's punching, you're blocking. You could potentially turn that into something, right? We start with this gate up, right down block. As someone's coming in, you block. Maybe you want to control the arm now. Come across, pull their arm, still holding the arm, and strike across the body, or the head, right? So I punched, it's deflected. You're going to control my arm, pulling it in, and then come across all this with your forearm, the blade of your forearm, right? Because you've already completed one block. Control, pull across their body, okay? And then maybe one more, you can take control, moving the arm over here and push them across. So you could potentially turn those 3 age-ukes into something else, right? Instead of it being a block, it's a forearm crush or strike, right, that goes right into this portion of their body. It's very powerful as you move forward with your forward stance, or even if you're just standing up, okay? The block, grab, push, okay? Again, you're backing up that opponent. Or simply block, 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 right? That makes sense too, right? You're just competing against this attacker who's coming, blocking strikes, blocking a strike, and blocking a strike. All right, but also it makes sense to block the strike, control the arm, come across their body, let go of the arm, and come across their body and face. All right, as the attacker, right, punch, deflection, pulled in, struck, and then struck again, probably, most likely knocking me off my feet. All right, so the next thing again is a 270-degree turn. You've completed this, and you're doing a 270-degree turn, again, right down block, Oizuki punch. All right, again, from here straight in front of you, this is your last Oizuki, or age-uke, turning, again, right down block, Oizuki punch. What can that be? Let's turn that into something else. All right, age-uke rising block. Your person is coming from this side with a punch, not a kick. You're going to duck that punch and strike their groin. All right, so they're coming with a punch. You're turning under, striking here. Their body leans down. Their body leans down after that strike to the groin. You push up. You can grab by the throat. You can grab by the side of the head and lead into that Oizuki punch. All right? So that, again, that makes sense as well for the turn. Like I said before, if I have done a punch or a block here and someone is coming with a kick, why turn into it and step that direction when after the block here I can just move away, right? So again, just rethinking what the kata can be, not what it has to be or what you've been taught over and over by looking at the traditional Japanese way of doing it, right? The block is up. You see someone coming with that punch, which is more typical, right? In a typical street or bar situation, okay, not a lot of guys kicking. Most of the time, people are going to be throwing punches because they're more familiar with throwing a punch. There's not a lot of people that start off a fight with kicks, all right? So again, as they come with that punch, you are ducking it, striking to the groin, control, punch. All right? There's that. All right, so I've kind of covered what you can do from there already because we covered it here. So after that punch, you're turning with that gate on, and then an Oizuki punch. We kind of got that already over here. You can turn that into something very easily, and maybe a good activity for you to think about on your own. All right, so we've punched. Now we're moving back in this direction, a 180-degree turn with a Gedo Morai down block. You could be, after this groin strike, which is really the Gedo Morai, groin strike, control punch. Maybe you're going to grab them by the back of their head, controlling the arm, pull, rip, turn to the ground. All right, that could be the Gedan that goes in the other direction. All right, so we've come from here to the Gedo Morai down block, to the Oizuki punch, to the Gedo Morai down block. Okay, so as an attacker, right, you're over there blocking someone. I'm going to move in for a punch. It gets ducked, strike to the groin, control, strike to the face, arm control, and now you're grabbing the back of my head, still have arm control, whipping me around and to the floor. All right, let's look at it again from the defender. Here's your block. You see the punch coming, duck it, strike to the groin. Grab that arm that just missed the punch. It could be anywhere in here. Grab the arm that missed the punch, punch, back of the head control, turn to the ground. Again, it could be an easy spike to the knee. Because your hand is Gedan, it's here, it's right here above the knee. As you make that turn, let me do it from this side. So I made the turn, groin strike, arm control, punch, grab the back of the head, right there into your knee. All right. So that makes sense, yes? So something you can practice. If you have a partner for any of this, it would be outstanding. Someone who can do these attacks so that you can kind of feel what it is like to go through and actually do techniques from the kata, but maybe tweak them a little bit and turn them into something else. Something a little bit more powerful. Something that may work better in a real life situation. Okay? So we've gone through the beginning, we've gone through our 3 agayukes, which could be bladed forearm strikes. Here, we've done, instead of a Gedan, where you're doing a groin strike, control the arm, punch, grab the back of the head, turn, spike to the knee with the head. Now again, comes an Oizuki punch. It is what it is. Turning 90 degrees back to the Gedo Morai down block, which could be exactly what it is. Someone is kicking, you've blocked it, and now you're going to attack. 1, 2, 3. All right, 3 punches in a row as you back them up. Maybe you're not backing them up that far. Maybe after this, you're just punching. Punch, punch, punch. I didn't go that far, right? I blocked the kick or deflected the kick, and now I'm striking. Punch, 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 or block the kick, punch, 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 right? Getting those punches off as quickly as possible. Gedo Morai down block, gotten rid of that kick, the deflection of the kick, and now you're going to attack. Punch, punch, punch. Again, we're in a fighting style here, fighting position. You don't have to get into a long Zingtuzachi front stance. Punch, punch, and punch. All right, we're fighting at this point. Block, punch, punch, punch. Get in there. Get in there fast, attack, break away. Next thing you're doing is 4 Shotoukes and a Kakutsudachi back stance. The last punch, someone's coming from this direction with a punch. Okay? I've seen what happened here. I'm going to come at you with a punch. First thing you're going to do is turn, block it with the Shutouke, control the arm, up, a chop to the neck. Maybe even a knee strike. That could be a thing, right? Block, control the arm, grab the back of the head. That kind of looks like a Shotokan. Yeah? So again, my final punch is here. Someone's coming. Block, Shotokan, grab the arm. Reach into the back of the head, knee strike. Looks just like Shotokan. Or it can be as simple as the block, control the arm, chop to the neck, the carotid. Right, again, as the attacker, the punch comes, it's blocked, control the arm, another chop comes right there to the neck. Or you're grabbing the back of my head and pulling it into your knee. Okay? Options. Same thing happens on the other side, so you can do your, you can imagine what happens again. Shuto to block, either the Shuto to the chop or the knee strike. Coming again, block, control, chop, or block, control, knee as you bring them down. All right, so there's the entire kata laid out for you, pretty standard, but again, right, we're putting a real life attribute to it. How can we use this practically in real life? All right, we didn't move that far off of the original techniques, right? At the beginning, we're still doing what looks like a gator lie down block, but we're controlling an arm. Instead of doing a full step and punch, we're punching as we step in, reaching back around, pulling instead of gate on. The tetsui, instead of being up high, ends up being low to the ground. Or we're here, a kick is made, you're blocking it or deflecting it. Now they punch, deflecting it up and around instead of this. You're deflecting, controlling the arm up and around. Elbow strike, come across the face again, dumping them, spike to the knee, strike down. Okay, now you're moving into this direction with your 3 age-uke rising blocks, which could be the rising block, control, press across the body, press across the body. All right, I'm gonna back up for you. All right, now someone's coming with this punch, strike to the groin, control the arm, punch, grab the back of the head, spin, spike to the knee. Right? Oizuki punch, whatever you wanted to do there. Now you're turning left for this gate arm. So you're deflecting a kick, and then just a barrage of punches to back up that attacker. All right, so that barrage of punches. Now an attack comes from the other direction. Shotokan. Block, control, Shuto, block, control, knee. Same thing happens on the other side. You've essentially performed the entire kata, but in my opinion, really taken out your attackers. Okay, instead of simply block, punch, block, hammer fist, punch, block, block, block. Right, nothing really happens there. Block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, 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 block, 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 or block, strike, block, strike. Right, the original Bunkai shows it being 4 blocks, but I kind of threw it in there that most likely, typically, it's going to be a block and then a strike. Block, strike. Okay, but I kind of added the little bit at the end where it could be a block, control, knee. Okay, because again, it's still the same function, still the same look as that Shotokan. So again, just Bunkai is something you can really have fun with, right? You can take a lot of the kata and what you're doing and turn it into something that's a little bit more practical. Doesn't have to be this very traditional, starchy, I have to block here, and then I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to move forward again, I'm going to punch, right? You can turn that into something completely different, and I feel like the opening really shows that, right? If you're standing here and you can control that arm, and then punch, and then dump someone across, and then strike down, that's completely different than block, punch, block, hammer fist. You know what I mean? All right, the very traditional way may not be as realistic, or it could be realistic. But I feel like what I'm doing is a little bit more practical and taking your attacker all the way to the floor and moving on to another attacker. Okay? But it still looks like hand Shodan. All right, so again, as you learn kata, try out some of these things. All right, we're going to do this again with hand Nidan in the future. So try some of these things out and think, wow, that makes a lot more sense now. Instead of, like for hand Nidan, for instance, when you start, you step into this double bow block and do that, and you think, what is that? I don't even understand how that could be practically applied. Think about it. All right, we'll look at it in the future. Maybe the next class for beginner that's something we can look at. We can break down Heian Nidan, okay, in the same sense. Okay, all right, good. Let's come back to center of class. Yoi, Misubarachi, right? Yoi, Seiza. All right. Today's meditation, I want you to go through what we went through today, all right? Go through that pretend fight in your mind and apply what we went through today. Thinking about how you're turning the traditional hand Shodan into something that's much more practical with this Bunkai. Bokuso. Bokuso Yume, Sensen Yurei. Tate. Yoi. Subarachi. Right. Yoi. Os. All right, thanks students for joining me for this class today. Hopefully you got a lot out of learning the Bunkai so that you can kind of apply that as you go through the kata hand Shodan. Hopefully you got the message that you need to practice hand Shodan as often as you can, especially at this level. It's the only kata you know that's traditional, most likely. Maybe you know hand Nidan, maybe you're learning hand Sandan, but this should be the go-to kata that you practice every day. Warm up, cool down. This should be a great way for you to get started, cool down and end your day. Hone this kata. Okay, this is one that you're going to do a lot more often than you think. Okay? Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in the next class. Os.